So today's coaching session is with somebody who's completely new to the game, new to the point where they're still trying to figure out a character for themselves. So today we're gonna go over like how they should choose the main, everything, like how like choosing a main in general goes through. So did you rotate through some characters and try something? Like, did you enjoy anyone in particular?
Ship's fun, and what's the one witch goal? I don't know her name.
Eno?
The one, yeah, Eno.
Alright, yeah, let's go through the procedure of like how to choose a main in the fighting game in general. So this will help you in like other games too, not just this one. So let's go over it. Essentially in this game there's like different archetypes, just like in every fighting game. So for example, you have Soul, who is like your regular character, like his basically like balanced character, has a bit of everything. Same with Kai, same with Testament, and then you have like specialist characters who like literally like niche down into one specific category, and that's like all the job that they do. Axel's a really good example of that. Potemkin's a really good example of that. I would probably say Happy Chaos is also a really good example of that, even though in this patch he can pretty much do whatever the fuck he wants. There's characters that specialize in one archetype in specific, and that's just how you drill them down to be played. That's basically it. The number one tip that I can give you, ultimately, is if you don't know what archetype you want to play, is just to look through the characters in training mode. That's what I do usually if I can't find the character. So for me, it's either one, I find a character before the game even releases, like through a trailer or something, and I'm like, fuck, that's my character. Like Giovanna was that for me, where it's like I saw the trailer, I'm like, alright, cool, I don't care, whatever other character comes in this game, I don't give a fuck, that's my character. Reason being, hyper aggressive rushdown is basically my playstyle. She's a hyper aggressive rushdown. It literally says it on the left, maximal and offensive rushdown. Like, I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah.
That was basically like my TLDR. I'm like, yeah, I'll just play rushdown, that's about it. Yeah, ultimately when it comes to characters, how I like to do it if I can't find anyone is I just go to training mode, look at those that interest me the most, and literally just press the buttons to see how it feels. So I would, for example, go in, I would pick Soul against whoever the fuck, doesn't really matter, and I would literally just press buttons and be like, does this feel good and natural to me? If the answer is no, then we'll move on, and I would do this for like every character. It's like for Soul.
What if you don't have the DLC?
The DLC? Well. Crossplay beta is out, and the Crossplay beta has every DLC for free, so you can test them all out. Ha!
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
But yeah, so what I would do is I would literally press the buttons and be like, does this feel good to me or not? And Soul obviously doesn't feel like good to me because he's really stubby. I don't really like his shit. Like here, stubby button number one, another one. Here again, laggy button. I'm like, ugh. And then it's like I would move on to the next character, be like, alright, maybe like Chip interests me, and then it would be like, oh, what can he do, what can't he do? But like ultimately, make a list of like 5 characters that interest you, and then you can look at like what the archetypes are and how they're played. So this is where like this actually comes into play. The playstyle of each character is drastically different in Guilty Gear. You don't really have like any clone characters. You know how like in Street Fighter there's like Ryu and Ken? They play kind of similar in a way. Yeah, doesn't fucking... You can throw that concept out the fucking window. It doesn't exist in Guilty Gear. It absolutely does not exist. Like, it's... Like, there's no character that plays like another. Like, not even close. Ultimately, the other option is that you just choose a character who will help you get fundamentally better at the game. So if your goal isn't necessarily to find, like, your soul character... you can also just go ahead and try to find something that is just good for you fundamentally, so you learn like how to play fighting games as a whole. So like there's different ways to go about it again, which again with archetypes it's different. Like not every character will teach you the exact same skill sets. So for example, if you would play Axel, you would learn the fundamental skills of playing zoners. Ultimately, if you will play Kai, you would basically just learn fighting game fundamentals as a whole because he's very basic. So the biggest difference between all the characters in every fighting game to me is basically how neutral is played. I think in Guilty Gear, advantage and disadvantage state is quote-unquote basically the same in a way. Disadvantage, for example, if you feel uncomfortable and you're like, yeah, I really would like to get out further, this isn't really like my style, you can choose a character that uses DPs, for example. So there's ways to like mitigate that, right? You can also choose characters that are really good in neutral, so characters who have good buttons like Giovanna, which are really quick. Or you can also look into characters that are really good at pressuring the opponent. I think a good example of that will probably be Ramblefall. But yeah, like overall, like the number one thing to know as a difference is that everyone plays neutral significantly different than disadvantage and advantage state. Neutral, on the other hand, is just completely how the game is supposed to be played. So because I play a rushdown character, what is my goal? Being here the entire time. Being in your fucking face consistently.
Yeah, aim close. Trying to break them up.
Yeah, so now if we would go to like Axel, for example, his space would literally be here. That would be his preferred range. he would want to be as far away from his opponent as possible. So it's like the complete polar opposite, right? And there's characters that like kind of like in the middle, where they're like supposed to be around like the mid range. Like Giovanna can also count as that. You can also play around the mid range. Rambleful can play around the mid range really well. Happy Chaos can play around the mid range really well. So there are like choices of how you would like to play neutral and advantage and everything. So do you have a certain preference? Like, do you have anything that you would like to do? Like, for example, do you want to keep your opponent out? Do you want to rush your opponent down? Do you want to like play neutral with them? Like, what exactly do you think would be fun to you?
Probably rush down or neutral. Zoning's not really my thing.
So, do you want your character to have a dash? Do you want the character to be fast, basically?
Yes, because I feel like if it's going to be slow, it's going to be harder for me.
Alright, then Nagaryuki's also eliminated. We can throw out Leo as well because he's slow. We can throw out Faust because he's slow. We can throw out Potemkin because he doesn't have a fucking dash. Gold Lewis we can throw out. Ino is slow in a way, but not really. Zato is very complicated. I don't think you have interest in him, right?
Yeah, the shadow does not look the fun.
Do you care about having a lot of health or health in general? Is that like not really a concern of yours too much?
Not really.
The characters that we have left, I think personally, Giovanna is a really good pick for Rushdown.
Yep.
Ramlefall is a good pick in general. So like, if you don't necessarily want Rushdown and you just want to play something, Ramlefall, you will never be wrong playing Ramlefall in this game. These devs love this character so much to the point where they buff her every fucking time, even though she's already fucking top 3. Like, they love her. They really, really do. So you will never go wrong with Ramlefall. I don't think you would ever go wrong with Giovanna either. Kai isn't really the best pick in terms of solid playstyle, just because like Giovanna basically does everything better than him. But yeah, let me hear your thoughts on it. Like, what do you think right now?
Geo does look fun. Ship was fun playing. I want to give Biken a try, because why not?
Okay, that's 3 characters, yeah.
Maybe Eno, still thinking about that.
You got one more pick, that's your list afterwards. Make a list of 5. So you can choose Bridget if you want the Ramlefall.
Yeah, sure. I'll try Bridget too, and see if Zone with Bridget's nice or whatever.
Guys, he's not a Ram main, let's go! I do actually have a video on Bridget. I don't know if you watched it or not, like an actual guide.
I don't remember if I did or not.
Okay,
or
cool.
if I did, it might have been a while ago.
Hey, if you didn't, it doesn't matter. If you're interested in the character, you can look at it. Okay, so for now what we're gonna do until our next session is you're just gonna enjoy these characters, and then you come back to me whenever you're ready and you're like, I've decided I want to play this character as my main. And that's when we can actually get to work in the whole coaching.
Okay.
Because then I can also send you resources. I can send you like guides from other content creators. I can send you combos that you can practice in the meantime, stuff like that, so you can actually start getting good at the game.
So mess around with them and like training and try
Training
online
mode,
matches?
online, yup, basically. Like
Okay.
you're just gonna get to know, like, just look for the command list and look for Dust Loop essentially, because Dust Loop is everything. Like, Dust Loop tells you everything. You know what? Like, it says like all this stuff. Like, it says it for every move essentially.
Yeah.
Like, it has like full descriptions of like what every move does and how you use it. And that's for every character in the game. There's so much stuff that you can figure out just from like this website alone and the game itself. You shouldn't really have trouble like at least knowing what the character's supposed to do. I wish you a lot of fun trying this out, and we'll see what happens, you know?
It's gonna be interesting.
Alright, have a good one.
Alright, I'm
It's nice
gonna
talking
go
to you.
try out the characters now.
Alright, go for it. Have a good one. Bye.
You too. Bye.